Hello, this is the evaluation for actual bodily harm. So this is needed for an essay. Now, the first point I would say is that ABH has a maximum sentence of 5 years. This is quite a big jump from assault or battery. Assault or battery has a 6-month maximum sentence. So we've all of a sudden jumped up to 5 years. However, in practice, you can kind of counter-argue this. You can say, in practice, very few people are actually given 5 years for ABH. That would be highly unusual. The next issue I think you could talk about is the fact that the sentence is set out in section 47 of the Offences Against Person Act, but the definition isn't set out by Parliament. The definition has actually come from common law. And remember that kind of point we can always say is that judges, it's not their role to be creating law. They should be interpreting it and they should be applying it. They are unelected. Parliament is sovereign. They are the lawmaking body. To kind of argue against that as well, we can just keep going forwards and backwards arguing. We can say that, well, judges they're doing a good job. They are adapting to modern society. They have recognised that bodily harm includes mental harm. In 1861, nobody, when they made the Offences Against Person Act, nobody knew anything about mental harm, or if they did, they thought you were like a witch and you had to be killed or something. So bodily harm is good. Judges are reflecting modern day society. The problem with the Offences Against the Person Act is that it's outdated. We need a statutory definition. I mean, it's 1861, but again, does the law work well? I mean, if you punch somebody on a Saturday night, if you're drunk, you are going to be charged under this really old act. It's over 150 years old now, 160 years this year, but there's the argument to say, well, it needs to be updated, but then counter-argue that saying it works well in practice. There are very few injustices. Law is all about justice. Have we seen any injustice? And, not really. The other issue I would talk about is the law is limited. So what amounts to ABH, I guess this is good for the defendant, but hair, it can't just be a bit of hair. It has to be substantial hair. So Smith cutting off someone's hair. Mental harm. If you were just a little bit scared because somebody's been following you, that is not enough to be ABH. It has to be a recognised condition. One of the issues with ABH is the defendant only needs the mens rea for an assault or a battery. They don't actually have to foresee the actual bodily harm. And I think that's quite unfair on the defendant, because all they might have wanted to do was just push someone. They intended to do battery. They intended to apply unlawful force. Yet the person's fallen over, broken their collarbone, and all of a sudden the defendant is guilty of ABH because they did intend the battery. And remember, that's all you need. So it's strange how the actus reus is actual bodily harm, yet the mens rea is only assault or battery. The Law Commission in 2015 suggested changing ABH to intentionally or recklessly causing some injury. Now, I would comment, it's still evaluation, that it's good. I would say, well, this is clearer. So intentional or recklessly causing some injury. I'm like, yeah, some injury. Although, what is some injury? So I think it is clearer. It does fit with modern society, but then you do have to make sure that you define some injury. Parliament has not acted on the suggestions for reform. So either it's happy with the law, with how it is, it's satisfied with the law. You can always make that comment. It's not a key priority for Parliament to change the law. So therefore, there can't be much injustice that is happening. So that is ABH. Tune in for GBH.